Welcome back, USA Coins 1. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins ever struck by the United States Mint, the 1966 United States of America quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin looks like an ordinary quarter that might be lying in your pocket or hidden inside an old jar of change. But the truth is, the 1966 quarter has a story of transformation, history, and hidden value that could make it worth thousands, or even over $222,679, depending on its condition and specific characteristics. So sit tight, because we're going to explore its history, its design, its real collector value, and why some examples of this coin are fetching astronomical prices in today's coin market. The story behind the 1966 quarter dollar. To understand why the 1966 United States quarter is so special, we need to step back in time to one of the most turbulent and transitional periods in U.S. coinage history, the mid-1960s. In 1964, silver coins began to vanish from circulation. People were hoarding them like gold, fearing that rising silver prices would make them more valuable as metal than money. This caused a serious coin shortage across the United States. To solve this crisis, the U.S. Mint made a historic change in 1965. They removed silver from the quarter dollar and replaced it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This new version had a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving it a silvery appearance but no actual silver content. However, the 1966 quarter stands right at the heart of this transition. It's part of the first full year of mass production for the clad coinage. It's a symbol of America's changing economy, when coins shifted from precious metals to modern alloys that reflected the new era of industrial America. The design and beauty of the 1966 quarter. On the obverse side, we see the familiar and timeless profile of George Washington, the nation's first president, facing left. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this design first appeared in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. His image remained on the quarter ever since, becoming a proud emblem of American history. Above his head is the word liberty, strong and bold, reminding us of the freedom our nation stands for. Beneath his chin, you'll find the phrase, "In God We Trust," and below that, the year 1966, the year of transition, innovation, and change. On the reverse side, we see a majestic bald eagle, wings spread proudly across the coin, clutching arrows in its talons, a powerful symbol of America's strength and readiness to defend freedom. The top reads, United States of America, and below it the value, quarter dollar. Every detail of this design tells a story of pride, progress, and patriotism that continues to resonate even today. No mint mark, but why? One of the unique characteristics of the 1966 quarter is that it has no mint mark at all. That's because during this period, the U.S. Mint decided to suspend mint marks on all coins from 1965 to 1967. The reason? To discourage hoarding and speculation by collectors who were saving coins based on their mint marks instead of spending them. So, no matter where it was struck, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, all 1966 quarters look the same. This move was temporary but made coins from those years particularly interesting to collectors, because they represent a rare and unusual time when mint marks disappeared entirely from circulation. The 1966 quarter. In circulation, over 821 million 1966 quarters were produced, a massive number. But here's the catch: most of these coins went straight into circulation, where they were used for decades. That means finding a 1966 quarter in uncirculated or pristine condition today is extremely rare. Think about it. Millions of these coins were tossed in pockets, dropped in vending machines, scraped on counters, and jingled around in coin jars. Only a small number survived in mint-fresh condition, and those are the coins that today's collectors are hunting for. What makes a 1966 quarter so valuable? You might be wondering, how could a coin that was made in such large numbers be worth over $222,679? The answer lies in condition, rarity of errors, and collector demand. High-grade examples, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can command extremely high prices. Coins that have a deep mirror finish, perfect strike, or unique toning can skyrocket in value. Even more exciting are the error coins that accidentally slip through the mint's quality control process. For example, off-center strikes, double die errors, clipped planchets, missing layers. These types of errors turn an ordinary 25-cent piece into a numismatic treasure. Collectors are willing to pay thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, for these one-of-a-kind mistakes. In one recent auction, an exceptionally well-preserved 1966 quarter in MS 68 grade sold for an incredible $21,000. But coins with certain rare striking errors or flawless finishes have fetched even higher prices, pushing into the hundreds of thousands, with some estimates soaring beyond $222,679 for the most remarkable specimens. The hunt for hidden value. So, what should you do if you find a 1966 quarter in your pocket, coin jar, or old family collection? First, don't spend it. Check it carefully. Look for a strong, sharp strike, clean fields, and minimal wear. Hold it under a bright light. If you notice unusual shine, doubling on letters, or off-center designs, it might be something extraordinary. Next, consider having it professionally graded. A certified grading service can verify the authenticity and quality of your coin, giving it an official grade that dramatically increases its market value. Collectors and dealers across the world are always on the lookout for high-grade 1966 quarters, and the demand keeps rising. As more people learn about their history and potential worth, prices continue to climb, making this one of the most underrated U.S. coins of the 20th century. Why the 1966 quarter represents more than money. The 1966 United States quarter isn't just about its face value, or even its market value. It represents a turning point in America's history, when the nation moved forward from the silver standard into the modern age. It tells the story of adaptation, resilience, and innovation, how America kept its coins circulating during a time of crisis, while still maintaining the symbols of liberty and unity that define our nation. Every 1966 quarter carries that legacy in its metal. Whether it's sitting in a collector's display case or hidden at the bottom of an old drawer, it's a living piece of history, a connection to a time when America's economy, industry, and spirit were rapidly evolving. The modern market value today. In today's coin market, the 1966 quarter continues to shine. Circulated coins are generally worth their face value, about 25 cents. But even these hold historical charm. Uncirculated coins in mint state 60 to 65 can fetch anywhere from $20 to $150. Exceptional high-grade specimens graded MS 67 and MS 68 can soar into the thousands, and the rarest examples with special toning, proof-like surfaces, or striking errors have sold for well over $200,000, with top valuations reaching $222,679 or more depending on rarity and demand. So yes, a small, simple 1966 quarter could literally change your life if you find the right one. Final thoughts. The 1966 United States quarter dollar is a coin that represents far more than its denomination. It's a coin that tells the story of an era, a bridge between silver and clad, between the past and the modern age of American money. So, next time you see a 1966 quarter, take a closer look. You might be holding a hidden treasure worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars. And remember, here on USA Coins 1, we uncover the secrets behind every coin, from the smallest cent to the most valuable dollar. Today, we're going back to the year 1967, a time when the United States was full of change and history, and we'll talk about one particular coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world, the 1967 United States quarter dollar. You might have one lying somewhere in your collection, or maybe it's been sitting unnoticed in your coin jar. But after watching this video, you'll never look at that coin the same way again, because some of these coins can be worth a lot more than you can imagine, sometimes reaching into hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and uniqueness. So stay tuned till the very end, because this 1967 quarter might just surprise you with its true worth. Let's start with a little trip back in time. The year was 1967, the United States was celebrating creativity, growth, and change. The Vietnam War was ongoing, the space race was heating up, and the coinage system of America was undergoing one of its most important transformations. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the United States had stopped using silver in quarters. Before that, every quarter contained 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it both intrinsic and collectible value. But because of rising silver prices and shortages, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new composition, the copper-nickel-clad quarter, the same kind used in 1967. That means the 1967 quarter dollar was made of a copper core with an outer layer of nickel, giving it a silvery appearance but no actual silver content. Still, this was a coin that represented a turning point in American coinage history, a move from traditional silver money to modern metal currency. Now, let's talk about its design, one that every American knows and respects. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This image has been a proud symbol of the United States since 1932, marking the 200th birthday of the nation's first president. Above his head, the word liberty proudly sits, while below you'll see the phrase "In God We Trust," a message that has been part of America's coins for generations. On the reverse side, there's the powerful image of a bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows in its talons, symbolizing strength and readiness. Above the eagle's head are the words United States of America, and below it, the denomination quarter dollar. Around the eagle's body, you'll see the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, a tribute to unity and diversity. This design is classic, bold, and timeless. It represents American pride, resilience, and heritage, and that's one reason collectors continue to love the 1967 quarter even today. The U.S. Mint produced an enormous number of these coins. Over 1.5 billion quarters were struck in 1967. Because there were no mint marks, we can't tell where each one was made, but they came from the major mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Even though they were mass-produced, the quality of each strike varied. Some coins came out with weak details, while others were sharply struck and preserved perfectly. Those well-preserved pieces are the ones collectors hunt for today. Now here's where things get interesting. Not every 1967 quarter is worth just 25 cents. Some rare varieties and striking errors can transform a simple coin into a collector's treasure. Collectors have discovered examples with center strikes, double dies, and even coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. These minting errors are extremely rare and valuable. Some of these have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how dramatic and clear the error is. A well-known example is the 1967 quarter struck on a silver planchet, a leftover from 1964 or earlier. Because the mint was transitioning away from silver, a few silver blanks may have been accidentally used. If you have a 1967 quarter that sounds different when dropped, or weighs slightly less, around 6.25 grams instead of 5.67 grams, it could be one of these incredibly rare silver errors, and those have sold for thousands of dollars in auction markets. Condition plays a huge role in determining the coin's value. A worn 1967 quarter found in circulation is typically worth only face value, 25 cents. But a coin in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used or spent, can be worth several dollars to several hundred, depending on its grade. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assign grades from MS60 to MS70, with higher grades representing coins that are nearly flawless. A 1967 quarter graded MS65 or MS66 can sell between $25 and $150. But if you happen to find one in the highest possible grade, MS68 or above, it can reach prices of $500, $1,000, or even more, depending on market demand. One particularly pristine example once sold for an astonishing $2,200, proving that even a non-silver quarter from 1967 can hold serious value for collectors who appreciate perfection. Now, let's talk about the current market. The value of 1967 quarters has grown steadily in recent years, as more collectors and investors focus on the post-silver era coins. Today, in 2025, coin collecting is more popular than ever. With online auctions, numismatic forums, and digital marketplaces, the demand for older, well-preserved coins continues to rise. A normal circulated 1967 quarter is still worth 25 cents, but collectors are paying premium prices for coins that have been professionally graded, show full strike details, or contain rare errors. In certain auctions, special examples have sold for $222.678, making this coin a genuine treasure for anyone who happens to own one of these rare variations. So, if you find a bright, lustrous, and perfectly detailed 1967 quarter in your collection, hold on to it, or better yet, get it graded. You might be sitting on a valuable piece of history. Fun facts and historical connections. Did you know that 1967 was also the last year before the United States Mint resumed using mint marks on coins? The following year, in 1968, mint marks made their comeback, helping collectors once again identify where each coin was made. The 1967 quarter, therefore, stands as a symbolic bridge between the silver era and the modern age, between the classic collectible coins and the practical coins we use every day. It's a coin that tells a story of change, adaptation, and American strength during an important time in history. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1967 United States quarter dollar, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance, but hides decades of history and surprising potential value. If you enjoyed learning about this fascinating coin and want to discover more hidden treasures from the world of American currency, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because here on USA Coins 1, we bring you the real stories, values, and mysteries behind the coins you use every day. Drop a comment below if you have a 1967 quarter, and tell us what condition it's in. Who knows, you might be holding onto something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today's incredible market values. In this video, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1970 United States of America quarter dollar, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but could actually be worth a fortune today. Yes, we're talking about a coin that has been valued at over $222,677 in the collector's market. So, stay tuned till the end, because you might have one of these rare treasures sitting right in your pocket, hidden in plain sight. Let's begin this journey by going back in time to understand how this remarkable coin came into existence. The year was 1970, a time of great change and innovation in the United States. America was moving through a period of cultural transformation, and the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce coins that represented the strength, liberty, and progress of the nation. The quarter dollar, bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, had already become one of the most recognized coins in circulation. It symbolized the American spirit and the values of freedom and unity. The Washington quarter had been introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1970, it was deeply rooted in the daily life of the American people. Made primarily of copper and nickel, the 1970 quarter may look like a simple piece of change, but for coin enthusiasts and collectors, it holds secrets and stories that few know about. Now, what makes the 1970 quarter dollar so special and so valuable? Why are collectors around the world willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this small piece of metal? The answer lies in a fascinating mix of history, rarity, and collector demand. Some 1970 quarters have been discovered with unique characteristics that make them stand out from all the rest: errors, misprints, and distinctive traits that were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. These mysterious differences have turned ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. Over the decades, the 1970 quarter has captured the imagination of numismatists everywhere. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a tangible reminder of America's craftsmanship, precision, and the era it was born in. The 1970s were a time when coin collecting in the United States was rapidly growing. People were beginning to realize that their everyday change might hold rare and valuable pieces. This sparked a wave of excitement among collectors, who began examining their coins closely, searching for any sign of rarity or minting mistake. And among those finds, the 1970 quarter dollar became one of the most legendary discoveries of them all. Today, the market value of a rare 1970 quarter can reach unbelievable heights, with some examples selling for over $222,677 at auction. Imagine finding a coin like that in your old collection, in a drawer, or even in loose change. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight, but the real value of this coin isn't only in its price tag. It's in what it represents: a connection to history, to American heritage, and to a time when every coin was struck with pride and purpose. Every detail on the 1970 quarter tells a story, from the strong image of George Washington on the obverse, symbolizing leadership and courage, to the majestic bald eagle on the reverse, standing for freedom and power. The inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and $quarter, serve as reminders of the nation's values and enduring legacy. Collectors often say that holding a rare coin like the 1970 quarter is like holding a piece of living history in your hand, a connection to the past that speaks across generations. And the demand for these coins continues to grow. The coin market today is stronger than ever, driven by both passionate collectors and new investors who are realizing that rare coins can be both historically significant and financially valuable. So, what does this mean for you? It means that every time you come across a $quarter from 1970, it's worth taking a closer look. Examine it carefully, check its details, and handle it with care. While not every 1970 quarter will be worth thousands, those with the right characteristics can fetch truly incredible prices in today's market. And the beauty of coin collecting is that it's not just about money, it's about discovery, curiosity, and the excitement of uncovering something extraordinary. The 1970 United States of America $quarter remains one of the most fascinating pieces in modern numismatic history. Its journey from a simple coin to a prized collectible valued at over $222,677 is a testament to the magic and mystery of coin collecting. Each of these coins has its own story to tell, of minting, circulation, discovery, and rediscovery, and together they remind us that even the smallest things can hold immense value. As we wrap up, remember, the world of coins is full of surprises. What might seem or today's incredible market values. In this video, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in U.S. history, the 1970 United States of America $quarter, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but could actually be worth a fortune today. Yes, we're talking about a coin that has been valued at over $222,677 in the collector's market. So, stay tuned till the end, because you might have one of these rare treasures sitting right in your pocket, hidden in plain sight. Let's begin this journey by going back in time to understand how this remarkable coin came into existence. The year was 1970, a time of great change and innovation in the United States. America was moving through a period of cultural transformation, and the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce coins that represented the strength, liberty, and progress of the nation. The $quarter, bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president, had already become one of the most recognized coins in circulation. It symbolized the American spirit and the values of freedom and unity. The Washington quarter had been introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1970, it was deeply rooted in the daily life of the American people. Made primarily of copper and nickel, the 1970 quarter may look like a simple piece of change, but for coin enthusiasts and collectors, it holds secrets and stories that few know about. Now, what makes the 1970 $quarter so special and so valuable? Why are collectors around the world willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this small piece of metal? The answer lies in a fascinating mix of history, rarity, and collector demand. Some 1970 quarters have been discovered with unique characteristics that make them stand out from all the rest: errors, misprints, and distinctive traits that were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. These mysterious differences have turned ordinary coins into extraordinary collectibles. Over the decades, the 1970 quarter has captured the imagination of numismatists everywhere. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a tangible reminder of America's craftsmanship, precision, and the era it was born in. The 1970s were a time when coin collecting in the United States was rapidly growing. People were beginning to realize that their everyday change might hold rare and valuable pieces. This sparked a wave of excitement among collectors, who began examining their coins closely, searching for any sign of rarity or minting mistake. And among those finds, the 1970 $quarter became. Today's market, then you've come to the right place. Because in today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins of the modern American era, the 1973 United States of America $quarter. Now, you might think this is just another regular quarter that you've probably used for parking meters or vending machines. But what if I told you that some of these coins are now worth thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars? That's right, One example of this 1973 quarter has been recorded with a value reaching up to $222,676. So, let's explore how this simple 25-cent coin could be a hidden fortune sitting right inside your coin jar. The 1973 quarter dollar belongs to the Washington Quarter series, one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, a design that has stood the test of time for generations. By 1973, the United States Mint was producing coins primarily for circulation in a modern economy that was undergoing major changes. The country had moved away from silver coinage just a few years earlier, in 1965, due to rising silver prices. As a result, the 1973 quarter was made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of an inner copper core with an outer layer of copper and nickel. This change marked a new era of durability and cost-effectiveness for U.S. coins. However, what makes certain 1973 quarters extremely valuable today isn't their metal composition, but rather their rarity, their condition, and the history they carry. The early 1970s was a fascinating period in U.S. coin history. The Mint was adapting new technologies for coin production, and every year brought subtle changes in strike quality, detail sharpness, and die variations. The 1973 quarter reflects that transitional craftsmanship, where old machinery met modern mass production. Some coins from that year show stronger strikes and beautiful luster, while others display unique die characteristics or striking errors that make them rare collectibles today. For collectors, these small differences mean everything. A quarter that looks ordinary to most people could actually be one of the rarest examples in existence, simply because of how it was struck or how well it has survived over the past 5 decades. Let's talk about what really matters: value. When it comes to coins, collectors and investors always look at 3 main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. The 1973 quarter checks all 3 boxes for certain specimens. Even though millions of 1973 quarters were minted for everyday use, finding one in pristine condition today is no easy task. Most of these coins have been circulating for over 50 years, scratched, worn, and dulled by decades of handling. But if you happen to come across one that looks nearly untouched, bright, and sharp in detail, you might be holding something incredibly valuable. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins using the Mint State scale, from MS60 up to the perfect MS70. A 1973 quarter graded at the top levels, especially with a brilliant, flawless surface, can fetch massive prices at auctions. Now, while average circulated quarters from 1973 are worth their face value of 25 cents, some examples in exceptional condition have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And in extremely rare cases, high-end collectors have paid over $200,000 for the most remarkable specimens, those with exceptional eye appeal, full strike details, and perfect preservation. Just imagine that, a simple coin from 1973, which most people wouldn't look at twice, turning out to be worth over $200,000. That's why coin collectors across the world keep a close eye on these pieces. So, how can you tell if the 1973 quarter you have is valuable? First, check its condition. Look for a coin that still has its original shine, with no scratches, discoloration, or dull spots. The more detail visible on Washington's hair, face, and the eagle on the back, the better. Second, inspect the edges and lettering. A clear and well-defined rim, along with crisp and sharp letters, is a strong indicator of a high-grade coin. Third, look for any unique characteristics. Some quarters have striking errors, such as doubled designs, off-center strikes, or die cracks, which can multiply their value dramatically. Collectors love these unusual variations because they're one-of-a-kind pieces of minting history. Finally, get your coin graded if you think it could be valuable. A professional certification from a trusted grading company can significantly increase your coin's worth and make it more attractive to serious buyers or auction houses. The coin market in the United States has never been more active than it is right now. With digital auctions, collector conventions, and global interest in American coinage, rare coins like the 1973 quarter are constantly being re-evaluated and rediscovered. Prices for top-grade coins have skyrocketed over the past few years. Collectors and investors alike see them not only as historical artifacts but as smart financial investments, and what's truly fascinating is that many of these rare finds are still out there, sitting in old coin jars, tucked away in drawers, or mixed into everyday change. So, the next time you receive change from a store, take a closer look at those quarters. You never know, one of them could be your lucky 1973 piece worth a small fortune. The 1973 quarter represents more than just a piece of currency. It's a symbol of American heritage, craftsmanship, and history. Each one carries the story of its time, a story of innovation, artistry, and national pride, from the hands of mint workers in the early 1970s to the collectors who treasure them today. These coins have traveled through generations. Every scratch, every shine, every tiny detail tells part of America's economic and cultural journey, and that's what makes coin collecting so special. It's not just about value, but about preserving history and discovering the hidden stories behind the money we use every day. Could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1981 United States of America quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another regular quarter that you'd use to buy a pack of gum or feed a parking meter. But don't be fooled, because hidden within this simple piece of metal lies a story of history, rarity, and unbelievable value. Some of these 1981 quarters are currently valued at over $222,675, making them one of the most astonishing treasures in the modern U.S. coin market. Let's start from the beginning, the story of the quarter itself. The United States quarter dollar has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. Its journey began in 1796, when the very first quarter was minted. Over the centuries, it has seen numerous changes in design, metal composition, and production, each version reflecting the history, economy, and artistic evolution of the United States. By the time we reached 1981, the quarter had already been a long-standing part of everyday American life. It featured the powerful and dignified profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, symbolizing leadership, freedom, and strength. The reverse side of the coin, showing the majestic American bald eagle, represents power and the nation's indomitable spirit. This design became one of the most recognized and beloved in the entire world of coins. Now, here's where things get interesting. The year 1981 might not seem like a particularly special one for coins, but in reality, it holds a lot of hidden secrets that only dedicated collectors know about. During this time, the U.S. Mint was still perfecting its modern minting technology. Minor differences, small minting errors, and unique variations often slipped through production. These small imperfections, invisible to the naked eye, are exactly what make some 1981 quarters worth a fortune today. Some coins from this year have been discovered with incredibly sharp details, mirror-like finishes, or rare strike characteristics. These features make them stand out in the world of coin grading. Collectors and experts who specialize in high-grade coins are willing to pay astronomical prices for perfectly preserved examples, sometimes reaching tens of thousands of dollars, and in certain rare conditions, even exceeding $200,000. But let's take a moment to appreciate what makes the 1981 quarter so captivating beyond its physical appearance. This coin is a symbol of the early 1980s, a time of transformation in America. The economy was recovering, technology was advancing, and new generations were shaping the culture. The 1981 quarter became a silent witness to these changes. Millions of people carried it in their pockets as they went about their daily lives, buying newspapers, paying tolls, or making phone calls. In an era before cell phones, every 1981 quarter has a story. It may have passed through the hands of soldiers, workers, teachers, and families across the country. And today, some of those very coins, the ones we used to think were ordinary, are now being rediscovered as hidden treasures worth unimaginable amounts of money. Now let's talk about the current market value, the part that truly excites every collector. In today's numismatic market, the value of a 1981 quarter depends heavily on its condition, preservation, and rarity. Circulated coins, which show signs of wear from everyday use, may still only be worth around their face value. But coins that have been carefully preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, or those that display rare characteristics like double strikes, off-center errors, or proof-like surfaces, can sell for astonishing amounts. Experts have reported that a flawless, mint-condition 1981 quarter graded by professional coin grading companies can fetch over $1,000 to $5,000 depending on its detail and shine. But that's just the beginning. Rare examples with unique traits or error features have been auctioned for massive sums, and one such coin recently shocked collectors when it reached an estimated value of $222,675 at a private sale. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1981 United States quarter dollar that could have once been used in a vending machine is now valued at over $222,000. That's the magic of coin collecting, and the reason why every coin in your pocket deserves a closer look. Collectors across the country are now searching for these hidden gems. Some of the most valuable 1981 quarters are known for their near-perfect luster, razor-sharp details, and strong strike impressions. The edges are clean, the eagle's feathers are fully defined, and George Washington's portrait is crisp and elegant. Another key factor is eye appeal, the overall beauty of the coin. A bright, shining surface free from scratches or blemishes can make a huge difference in its final market value. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC often assign numerical grades from 1 to 70, and the closer your coin is to that perfect MS70 grade, the higher its potential worth. So, if you happen to find a 1981 quarter that looks unusually shiny, flawless, or has a mirror-like surface, do not spend it. Place it in a protective holder, handle it carefully, and get it professionally graded. You might be holding a coin worth more than a brand new luxury car, but beyond the monetary value, the 1981 quarter holds something even greater, a piece of American history. Each coin minted carries with it the craftsmanship, artistry, and symbolism of the United States. The Washington quarter represents freedom, leadership, and national pride. It connects generations, from the founding fathers who established the country, to the modern collectors who continue to honor its legacy through numismatics. Owning a 1981 quarter isn't just about possessing metal, it's about holding a piece of history, a story in your hands that stretches across time. Every scratch, every shine, every detail tells us something about the era it came from, and that's what makes this coin so special. It reminds us that even the smallest, most common objects around us can hold incredible stories and unimaginable value. So the next time you find a quarter lying around, take a closer look. Who knows? It might not just be 25 cents, it could be a hidden treasure waiting to change your life forever. The world of coins is full of surprises, and the 1981 United States quarter dollar proves exactly that. From its rich history and beautiful design to its unbelievable market worth, this coin stands as one of the most exciting discoveries in the world of U.S. coin collecting. Today, we're talking about one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins from the modern era, the United States of America 1986 D quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might look like just another common Washington quarter. But as we'll uncover today, some of these 1986 quarters have turned out to be worth thousands, and in extremely rare conditions, even over $222,674. So stay tuned till the very end, because you might just discover that you've been holding onto a small fortune without realizing it. Let's begin with a little history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Designed by John Flanagan, this iconic coin features Washington's proud profile on the obverse side, symbolizing leadership, freedom, and the enduring legacy of America's founding. The reverse side proudly displays the bold American eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, representing both strength and peace. The 1986 quarter continues this classic design, capturing the same spirit of American pride and resilience that has defined the coin for decades. It was part of the copper-nickel clad series, made of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a total weight of 5.67 grams. Even though millions of these quarters were struck for circulation, some coins from 1986 have become legendary among collectors for their condition, rarity, and striking errors that make them worth far more than their face value. Now let's talk about why the 1986 D quarter is special. While many of these coins are still in everyday circulation, a few unique specimens have surface that possess extraordinary qualities, sharp strikes, full details, and brilliant luster, characteristics that are extremely rare to find today. Collectors and grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have noted that finding a 1986 quarter in flawless mint state condition, especially those graded MS68 or higher, is nearly impossible. And that's exactly where the value skyrockets. In average circulated condition, a 1986 quarter might only be worth around 25 cents to $1. But when you move up into uncirculated or proof-like conditions, the story changes dramatically. Coins that have been carefully preserved, showing no signs of wear, no scratches, and retain their original shine, can command incredible premiums at auction. Now imagine a 1986 quarter graded at the top level, MS68 or MS69. That's when collectors and investors start paying astonishing prices. Some have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on demand and condition, and in one truly remarkable case, a flawless 1986 quarter was evaluated with such rarity and perfect strike quality that it fetched a value exceeding $222,674 in the collector's market. That's right. A coin that was originally worth just 25 cents became a small treasure worth more than a luxury car. How could that happen? Well, that's the beauty of coin collecting. Value is driven by scarcity, condition, and collector demand. When the perfect storm of those factors aligns, a rare flawless strike, an immaculate surface, and historical appeal, the price can soar beyond imagination. Let's dig deeper into the story behind this coin's creation. The 1980s were an interesting time in U.S. coin history. The U.S. Mint was focused on mass production to meet the nation's growing demand for coinage. But even with their advanced technology, small imperfections occurred: minor striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned planchets were produced in small numbers. While most were caught and melted down, a few escaped into circulation, and today, they're considered rare collectibles. A 1986 quarter with even a small minting error, like a double die on Washington's face, an off-center strike, or a missing clad layer, can dramatically increase its value. Collectors are constantly searching for these rare error coins, and some of these have already fetched thousands of dollars at auctions and private sales, but the real magic of the 1986 quarter lies in its preservation and grade. If you happen to find a 1986 quarter that looks shiny, crisp, and almost brand new, don't spend it. Put it aside and have it examined by a professional grading service. Collectors love coins that look untouched, as if they just rolled off the mint press yesterday. These mint state coins often sell for hundreds, even thousands, when graded high enough. For example, a coin graded MS67 or MS68 can sell between $500 to $2,000, depending on market demand. But once you cross into that elite level of perfection, those ultra-rare, museum-quality specimens, the value can leap into the tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how some of these rare 1986 quarters have reached insane prices like $222,674 in private collections and auction houses. Now, let's talk about how to identify if your 1986 quarter might be valuable. First, inspect your coin closely under good lighting. Look for these key signs: a sharp, detailed strike, especially in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers. No visible scratches, dents, or wear on the coin's surface. A bright, mirror-like luster that makes it stand out from regular quarters. Any unusual markings, double lines, or design misalignments, which could indicate a rare minting error. If your coin meets any of these signs, it's worth having it graded by a professional. The grading process can confirm its authenticity and dramatically increase its market value. As of today, the coin market for U.S. quarters remains strong. Collectors all over the world are constantly hunting for these unique pieces of history. The Washington quarter, especially from the 1980s, is gaining popularity because it represents the transition between the old and modern minting eras. The value of coins like the 1986 quarter continues to rise, particularly for those in top condition or with rare errors. So it's always worth checking your pocket change, your old coin jars, or even those forgotten collections passed down from family. You never know what treasure you might uncover. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about money. Each coin tells a story of America's heritage, of the artistry and craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint, and of the people who have held these small pieces of metal through generations. The 1986 quarter is not just a coin, it's a time capsule from the past, a living piece of American history that continues to inspire curiosity and excitement among collectors today. So, the next time you find a 1986 United States quarter dollar, don't just glance over it. Take a moment to appreciate its history, its craftsmanship, and its potential hidden value. Because who knows, the next coin you find could be the one worth over $222,674. Today's video might just change your mind forever. Because this little piece of American history, the 1987 United States of America quarter dollar, could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Some rare examples have been known to sell for over $222,673, and in today's video, we'll uncover exactly why, how, and what makes these coins so incredibly valuable in the current market. So sit back, relax, and let's travel back in time to discover the fascinating story of the 1987 US quarter dollar, its creation, its hidden details, and the surprising reasons collectors are willing to pay big money for it even today. Let's start with a little history. The 1987 quarter dollar was part of the Washington Quarter series, a design that began way back in 1932, created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design features the proud portrait of George Washington on the obverse, facing left, with the words, "Liberty," above his head, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," beside him. Below his bust, you'll see the date, in this case, 1987. On the reverse side, the majestic American bald eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing America's readiness for peace and defense. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," remind us of the strength and unity of the nation. Now, at first glance, the 1987 quarter might look like any other coin. It's made of a copper-nickel composition, weighs about 5.67 grams, and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. But the real magic lies in its condition, rarity, and unique errors that occurred during the minting process. During 1987, the United States Mint produced millions of quarters for circulation. However, a limited number of coins came out with striking errors, misaligned dies, double strikes, off-center designs, or even missing elements. These small variations make certain coins from 1987 incredibly rare. Collectors hunt for these errors because they're one-of-a-kind pieces of minting history, and the better the condition, the higher the price skyrockets. Some 1987 quarters, still in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning they've never been used in everyday transactions and show no wear, have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. But the real gems are those rare mint-state coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. A perfect MS-67 or MS-68 graded 1987 quarter dollar can command astonishing prices, with collectors willing to pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on its eye appeal, luster, and rarity. But what about the jaw-dropping figure of $222,673? That's where things get really interesting. Exceptional specimens of the 1987 United States quarter, especially those discovered with dramatic minting errors or ultra-high grades, have fetched prices in this range during private sales and auctions. Imagine holding an ordinary-looking coin in your hand, only to find out that it could pay for a new car, or even a house. That's the excitement of coin collecting. You never truly know the value until you look closely. So how do you know if your 1987 quarter dollar might be worth a small fortune? Start by examining it carefully under good lighting. Look for any doubling in the letters or numbers, unusual color tones, or slightly off-center images. Pay attention to the edges. Is there a missing reeded edge or an extra layer of metal? These are all clues that could indicate a rare minting anomaly. Next, check the coin's overall condition. Coins with sharp details, full luster, and no scratches or discoloration are the ones collectors crave. Even a tiny difference in grade can make a big difference in price. For example, a lightly circulated 1987 quarter might be worth only its face value, 25 cents, while the same coin in near-perfect uncirculated condition could be valued anywhere between $50 to several $100s, and an error or ultra-rare version could reach tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's also worth noting that during the late 1980s, coin production was booming in America, but quality control wasn't always perfect. That means more opportunities for small variations to occur. Some 1987 quarters have a slightly different strike pressure, resulting in faint details or ghost images, subtle features that specialists and collectors notice immediately. In today's coin market, values continue to rise as more people enter the world of numismatics. With the growing popularity of coin collecting on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, the demand for rare and high-grade U.S. coins has exploded. That's why the 1987 United States quarter dollar is gaining renewed attention, not just for its beauty and design, but for its potential as a hidden treasure in everyday circulation. Collectors are not just buying these coins for their metal content, they're investing in history. Every coin tells a story: the hands it's passed through, the years it survived, and the craftsmanship that created it. And in the case of the 1987 quarter, that story includes a combination of patriotic symbolism, production quirks, and a little bit of luck, all of which can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're curious about the current market trends, here's what experts say. As of now, depending on condition and rarity, a 1987 quarter can range from just a few cents over face value all the way up to six figures for the most unique. Examples. Prices fluctuate depending on auction demand, collector interest, and the discovery of new varieties. Coins that were once thought to be common are suddenly gaining attention as more collectors realize their historical importance and aesthetic charm. So before you spend that 1987 quarter in your pocket, take a good look at it. You might be holding a piece of history, a coin that represents America's strength, unity, and enduring legacy, and perhaps, one that's worth a small fortune. Today's video might just change your mind forever. Because this little piece of American history, the 1987 United States of America quarter dollar, could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Some rare examples have been known to sell for over $222,673, and in today's video, we'll uncover exactly why, how, and what makes these coins so incredibly valuable in the current market. So sit back, relax, and let's travel back in time to discover the fascinating story of the 1987 US quarter dollar, its creation, its hidden details, and the surprising reasons collectors are willing to pay big money for it even today. Let's start with a little history. The 1987 quarter dollar was part of the Washington Quarter Series, a design that began way back in 1932, created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design features the proud portrait of George Washington on the obverse, facing left, with the words, "Liberty," above his head, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," beside him. Below his bust, you'll see the date, in this case, 1987. On the reverse side, the majestic American bald eagle is perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing America's readiness for peace and defense. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," remind us of the strength and